What's going on? This is Greg with sportsrehabexpert.com and On Track Physiotherapy in Ann Arbor, Michigan. Today we're going to be talking about hip pain, more specifically what people will call a tight IT band, causing hip pain that generally is on the lateral side of the hip to the front side of the hip, almost like your front hip pocket. Usually these individuals will have a lot of difficulty sitting, experience tightness, achiness, an unrelenting sense of just tension in the front of their hip. And today we're going to be going over a quick, simple circuit that you can do to help alleviate some of these symptoms and start working towards experiencing less and less tension overall. Now keep in mind, there's a variety of different things that could be causing the symptom. It's not necessarily just IT band tightness, or more specifically, tensor fascia lata tightness. You can't stretch out your IT band, guys. Just toss that out the window. It's a big, thick, dense piece of tissue, but it does turn into a more muscular piece of tissue called the tensor fascia lata up at the hip, and we can train this tissue a little bit more specifically to contract and relax, concentrically orient and eccentrically orient, as we refer to commonly in rehab and strength and conditioning. Now again, as I mentioned before, this could be a variety of different things causing your symptoms. Sometimes it is muscle related, sometimes it's joint related, or the hip joint capsule itself, such as commonly referred to as bursitis. So it's beyond the scope of this video to differential diagnose your issue. So you need to take that in consideration before you try any of these exercises. Keep in mind, I'm not your mother. I don't make you spaghetti at night. You can make decisions yourself, choose what's best for you. This is not considered to be medical advice. So again, as I referred to earlier, when someone thinks their IT band or their TFL is tight, they try to stretch it. And you'll see a number of different stretches online. If you Google it, if you YouTube it, number of different stretches. But again, a lot of this is focused on the lower leg and the leg itself down towards the knee and trying to stretch the IT band down towards the knee. This really doesn't do you any good for the symptoms that you're experiencing at the hip, nor can you really stretch the IT band because again, it's a very thick, dense piece of tissue that isn't going to budge no matter how hard you pull or tug on it. So if you've been trying a bunch of these stretches and been getting minimal to no results, that's probably why. Now secondary to this, a lot of people might try to strengthen their hip, do a bunch of hip strengthening exercises with a resistance band. And while this isn't bad either, keep in mind that a resistance band is going to accumulate more resistance the more you push into the band. The more the band is in a shortened position, it actually reaches a point in time where there's no tension at all being placed on the band. So the resistance accommodates to the movement. So there's not a consistent resistance or consistent strength being built into the muscle tissue itself too, which is why I'm not a huge component or advocate for these banded exercises. Not to mention further, the range of motion that you're going through is limited irregardless of a band or not. You're just going through a very small range of motion of what your hip is actually capable of doing. So you're not actually strengthening those outer limits in the shortened range of motion or in the lengthened range of motion. You're just strengthening those middle ranges, which again is fine, but it's a very small piece of the puzzle at this moment. So I prefer ways that we can strengthen through a full range of motion at your current level of capability and be able to scale accordingly depending on how your symptoms respond, if there's any pain involved, or as you progress and as the muscle tissue actually is capable of lifting more resistance. Okay, so now we're going to be getting to that circuit that I had mentioned. It's going to be 3 exercises that we are going to work towards. Really two main ones, just alternating back and forth between the two, and then I'll show you a third one just as a bonus advancement. The first is just going to be simply foam rolling that area. Now foam rolling is different than stretching. All that we're trying to do is alleviate a little bit of tone into that muscle. Decrease some of that tension, some of that gripping, the tightness that you're experiencing is that constant isometric contraction in the tissue. So all that we want to do is knock down some of that tone, almost like you're gripping a steering wheel really, really tight. The body can do so in the form of a protective mechanism, create this constant isometric tension. And all that we're trying to do with the foam roll is lay on that piece of tissue and decrease some of that tone, that tension, so that we can then utilize a strengthening exercise through a full range of motion to contract the tissue maximally and then lengthen the tissue maximally, so we don't have to rely on always getting on top of the foam roller long term as we go into this hip abduction movement through a full range of motion. Basically, you can see that the leg is off the edge of a bench, some plyo boxes, or a bed at home, whatever you may be doing it at, so that you can increase the amount of range of motion that you're going through. You can actually feel the muscle lengthen, actually get the stretch you're looking for under load, so you can build strength in that lengthened position, and then lift up so you're getting constant resistance throughout the whole entire exercise, as opposed to the band resisted exercise that you're just getting that top range of motion. Okay, so that's the 1-2 combo. You're just going to alternate back and forth between the two, sitting on the foam roller for about 30 seconds, then going over, doing the leg raise, 3 sets of 10, 3 to 5 rounds total, 10 reps with the leg raise, 30 seconds on the foam roller. If you're trying to add another exercise or take it up a notch too, you can also do a side plank pump. And what this will do is this will also lengthen that tissue through a full range of motion using your body weight and gravity as resistance, and then you'll actively use your muscle to help lift up out of that position. So that's an advancement, or you can cycle through a circuit of 3 exercises, do 3 to 5 rounds of those exercises. Again, this is just a small piece of the pie. If you are actually dealing with TFL tightness issues, this will help you, but it might not be the whole entire solution. And again, there's a variety of different hip issues that you might experience too, so these exercises may not be right for you. If you're looking for a little bit of extra help, email me, greg@sportsrehabexpert.com. Tell me a little bit about what you're going through, what you've tried, what's currently giving you pain, and we'll set up a game plan and a roadmap to help you improve those symptoms and get back to doing what you love and enjoy to do. As always, be sure to like, subscribe, share this channel with anyone you think may be dealing with hip issues or find these videos useful, and comment below with any questions that you may have or any future videos that you'd like to see upcoming, so that we can keep providing relevant content to you.